recovery means to them, you know. And I told John, I was like, man, that's a great topic, you know. I'll talk about it anyway, you know, what recovery means to me. I mean, when I read the text, I immediately started thinking, you know, man, a lot of times, man, just like you was talking about, you know, hey, Marshall, you look nice tonight, you know, and all that, the white shirt and all that, you know, and immediately it made me think about the finished product. Not all the way yet, but the finished product that you see every week. You know, some of y'all have been here. We've been doing this in this Henrico jail for like 2 years, going on 2 years. But you see the finished product. You know what I mean? Most important thing that recovery meant to me, man, when I sit down and when I thought about that, man, ooh, man, my family, you know what I'm saying? My mother, you know, my wife, my daughter, my son, my kids. You know what I'm saying? You know, I can remember thinking, you know, why they so worried about me? What I'm doing only affects me. I ain't bothering nobody. You know, I couldn't reach their thinking, you know, because selfishly, I wanted to be right. And, you know, I want to be right, man, you know, but this thing carries you somewhere that, man, you don't want to go mentally or physically. This disease of addiction carry you somewhere that you don't want to go, you know. I myself look at the finished product, you know, but man, I can remember people in my neighborhood saying the same thing about me. Man, he's a nice young man, you know, got a promising future, but he can't leave that stuff alone, you know. Can't leave that stuff alone. And you ain't got to tell me, when I come in here, I know this stuff turn you upside down. Because that's exactly what it did to me. Morals, principles, man, I don't even know what that was. You know? I steal from my best friend. You know, and I was out there long enough to see that go to another level. I saw that go to another level. Man, my using took place in Southside, you know, man, down 14th Street, 15th Street, you know what I'm saying? Man, it was Blackwell, the Brown Boys, man, it was crazy shit, man, you know what I'm saying? We were in the mix of it, you know, I was in the mix of it, like it was all right. You know, I know 2 or 3 dudes down there, man, 2 or 3 young dudes, man. They got killed out there, man, for nothing, you know, because they thought, man, I mean, a brother that was thorough brother, man, they killed him, you know, and I mean, all these dudes, man, just walking around, man, because, I mean, I'm using, they selling, you know what I mean, but I'm up in the mix too, because somebody come through there with a drive-by, you know what I'm saying? Anybody's subject to get shot, you know. But man, I can think about the times when my wife called my mother. I haven't seen him in a day. I haven't seen him in 2 days. I don't know where he at. My mother come down on the strip looking for me, you know. Marshall, look at your mother, man. It look like your mother coming down here. I'm in the cut, you know what I'm saying? I'm ducking and dodging, you know what I'm saying? I'm in the shooting gallery. I'm saying, man, hey Marshall, it look like your mother's car. They know where her car was. It looked like your mother's car pulled up out there, you know what I'm saying? Same thing, man. I hadn't been home. I was missing in action, you know what I mean? Today I can laugh about that, you know, but man, that was those were some dark days for me. You know what I mean? I mean, nobody thought I was gonna make it. You know, they felt. I mean, my mother, the dreaded phone call. Eventually, somebody gonna call, he gonna get into something, somebody gonna do something to him and all that, you know. Because I was doing crazy stuff, you know what I'm saying? And man, I got to tell this story. Man, when I went to the penitentiary, I was in the penitentiary for 6 years, you know, and I met some gangsters while I was in there. You know what I'm saying? And man, I get out, you know what I mean? They get out. I'm at home one day, dude called me. He was like, dude, we coming by. Where you at? Where you live and all that, you know? They come by. And dude, man, we sit down and we do our thing. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, they clean up for the wife and the kids get there, you know? So I told the wife who was there and all that, you know? Later on, the next day, me and my wife was at home and we sitting there looking at the news, and we see on the news where somebody had a shootout with the police downtown, 6th and 6th Street Marketplace with the police, right? And they flashed the dude's picture all across the screen. And my wife said, ain't that so-and-so? And I was like, yeah, that is. You know, she said, he was just here yesterday, you know? And I was like, man, you know? So believe it or not, man, you know, that was a spiritual awakening for me, you know? It's like, damn, man, I missed that, you know? I heard somebody talking the other day, man, and they were telling a story where, you know, they were supposed to have been going to meet up with some dudes, you know? They got sidetracked. When they got there, the dude that they was going to meet up with, he got shot. Somebody rolled up on him, you know what I'm saying? And they was like, man, saved our life. The distraction saved our life, you know? And man, it's like for me, man, I had knee surgery, right? And they told me, this is what you need to do after surgery. You 70 years old, the anesthesia, we don't know what it may do to your body. 70 years old. I said, okay. So I go to the doctor, checking on the knee surgery stuff. I go to the urologist, I go to the kidney doctor, you know, I go to the lung doctor, because all this anesthesia will affect your breathing. You know, I'm going to the doctor, man. When I go to the doctor, one of the doctors tell me, said, man, you're new to me. I want to do a MRI so we can get a baseline where to start at. I said, okay, doc, sounds good to me. You know, I go do the MRI and they come back, they tell me, they said, man, we saw a cyst on your kidney. I was like, get out of here, man. So they said, well, what we're going to do is we're going to monitor it and we're going to give you some medication. And we're going to see 6 months from now how it looks. I go to the urologist in 4 months. Urologist looked at the cyst. He tells me, he said, look, man, that cyst looks concerning. I don't know. He said, I don't know about that. He said, your numbers look good, but that cyst looks concerning, you know? Come back in a month. I'm going to let my group look at this. I come back in a month. They tell me, they said, look, man, we're going to have to take your kidney out. My wife already, she thought that as well, you know? If it in there and if it ain't right, take it out. You know what I'm saying? Because this is what they told me. And I read it, I researched it, my daughter researched it and all of that. And they were saying like, man, it depends on the size of the cyst that you got on your kidney. There's a good possibility. It's 50-50. Could be cancerous or it may not be cancerous, you know? Good part about it is you can live with one kidney, you know? So the doctor, this is what my primary care tells me. He was like, look, man, they suspected it, that it was cancer all the time. You know, your urologist did. That's why he took the steps that he did. He took over, he took lead, you know, and he told me after I went back for about a month, he said, look, man, I already got a date. We're going to take that out. He told me this like in December. I didn't want to upset anybody's Christmas holiday and all of that, so I didn't tell him, you know. January, I had to go for the pre-testing, and after that, I told him, you know, what was going on, you know. and I had the surgery in February the 6th. You know what I mean? And the point I'm making is that, man, a lot of times, just like you see things that, man, it's things that have saved my life. It's things that have saved other people's lives. Being late to hook up with your boy and your boy done got killed. You going somewhere to get high with somebody, they done OD'd. You know what I'm saying? Same thing, you know. I'm coming trying to get my knee surgery straight, and they found out that I got a bad kidney. You know what I'm saying? So that's what the doctor told me. When I went back to thank the doctor, you know what I'm saying? The doctor told me, he said, man, I don't usually do this. But he said, it ain't me, it's God. He told me about another family member of his that went through the same thing. Dude fell off the ladder and hurt his back. And they took an MRI on him and found out that he had a bad kidney. They did what they had to do. The kidney saved his life. You know what I mean? So, man, when I think about all of that, and I think about the finished product now, you know, and man, I'm so grateful on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? I wake up every day. Because I was at church the other day, and they told me in church, they said, look, man, you don't have to know every scripture in the Bible and know all of this. All you need to know is what God has done for you. That's all you need to know. Just thanking for what he has done for you. You know, being right here, it's hard to conjure up what God has done for you, because we don't know the future. I mean, you could be out there, you could be living a prosperous life, or you could be out there looking like a bum. Be out there picking up cigarette butts. You know what I'm saying? I saw that at Hanover. Got out of jail, and the first thing he walking around looking for cigarettes. You know what I'm saying? Little joints like that, man. He grabbed them joints, man, and want to smoke a cigarette. You know what I'm saying? You know? But you know, the gratitude, man, of still being here, man. Life, man. Life. You know? That was the message that I got. You know, another thing they were saying too, man. They was like, look, man, death is a part of life, but death is not life. You know? So they said, live, man. Live. And you know, you'd heard me say that before. That's what I'm trying to do, man. I'm trying to live, man, as best I possibly can, you know? And it's working. And I'm so grateful every day, you know? And man, I went, like I said, to the anniversary yesterday, and that thing, man, fed me. That fed me, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, hey, job well done. I'm full, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I get gratitude from that, man, and I get gratitude from coming here, you know? Man, because for me, I did this thing, man, 7 times. 7 times I was in and out of jail. One of them was a 6.5-year bit, you know? So I'm almost like, I'm glued to this shit, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm glued to it. So when the guy celebrated the anniversary last night, it was like me celebrating, you know? And man, I mean, like John used to say, that shit, man, is better than a drug high. You know what I'm saying? That shit, man, touched my heart, you know? And I always say, this is what this thing is about, man. This thing is about touching lives, man. I don't care if it's just family members. It's about touching some lives, you know? And that works for me, you know? So enough about me now. Let's hear about y'all. What's y'all favorite thing to do in life? You ain't got to answer. Just think about it. What's your favorite thing to do in life? You know? I done had 2 or 3 different things that I want to do. And let me just tell you this too. To say, I don't know, that's a 10-year-old answer. You got to know. Most of y'all 50 years old. I'm just kidding. Most of y'all, you know, are adults. You know what I'm saying? You got to know what's going on with you, man. The words of Muhammad Ali. If you 40 and you still thinking like you 20, you done wasted 20 years of your life. So the point being, man, don't keep wasting your life. Don't keep wasting this life. You know what I'm saying? do something about it, man. Think about it is, man, what you can do. Some of what you can do it while you're here. You know, start changing your way of thinking, you know, first and foremost, man, you know. And that's a good step, man. Because once you get out of there, if you don't change your way of thinking, you're coming back. Because I'm telling you, and some of y'all know, I told it 7 times in a bit. And it's almost like, man, once you started going to jail, wait, you been 5 times? 7 times. Once you started going, that shit is like a magnet. It's attracting you, pulling you. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, some people, I was at Pamunkey, a dude got locked up, man, 19 times. I'm like, what the hell? 19. You know, when you going to get it right? You know, and the thing about it is sometimes you never get it right, you know? But, yeah, take advantage of this thing, man. Take advantage of this thing. There's a purpose, man, for you being here. You know what I'm saying? Man, it ain't no fun and games. It ain't a lot of how to learn how to play cards and chess and checkers and all that shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, you might give something, but I used to say all the time, man, give yourself some time. Give yourself some time. You know what I'm saying? Read something, think about something, do something. You know what I'm saying? You know? And if you can't find the answer, keep on. Continue on with it. You know? Your purpose, man. You know what I'm saying? See, this is my purpose now. This is my purpose to do that, man. Pass the message on, man, to the sick and suffering, you know? And man, that's what I do. I mean, this shit here keeps me busy 7 days a week. You know what I mean? With that, man, I'm gonna give you Greg. Me and Greg met at treatment facility. What year was it, Greg? 1980?
1985.
1985. You know? That's awesome, man. Love this boy here.
Love you too.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here. My hero, Marshall. One of the guys I looked up to when I first came in the program.
You can introduce him.
1985. That was a long time ago.
Hey, Greg. Introduce Colley. Huh?
We're going to get it figured out in just a moment. You know, I used to have dinner with about 5 or 6 of my friends. I got some friends outside the program. Few of them in the program that eat with us. Few of them are not. You know, some of them drink, some of us don't. And they text. We on a group text every Tuesday. Where we going? And I haven't had dinner with them in about 2.5, 3 months. But I stay in touch with them. So they text me, let me know where they're going tonight. And I put on there, I put jail, not in, recovery. Carrying the message, you know. But they wouldn't be surprised. Maybe they would be. But when I come through the door here, or when I come through the door at an AA meeting or any type of recovery meeting, I feel at home. I feel a part of. Because I'm around people who are just like I am. Have the same issues, done the same things, looking for a way out, looking for some contentment in life, looking to find some happiness. You know, I tell people all the time, happiness eludes me in recovery, but contentment I have today. It's hard. You know, they talk about freedom. Freedom is what I have today. I'm no longer a slave to cocaine, to methamphetamine, to alcohol. You know, I was riding down Staples Mill up at Cross Ridge. I don't live too far from Cross Ridge off of Staples Mill. My favorite liquor store was right there. I used to go to different liquor stores because I didn't want to be the first person in there. And think about the insanity of it. I'd be out there, people at 5 minutes to 10, I knew the store opened at 10. I can't be the first one in there because they're going to think I have a problem. And then I go to different locations because I didn't want them to think that I was an alcoholic. I didn't want them to think I had a problem. Then I'd be thinking, do I have enough to get through the weekend? But I don't want to buy too much because then I'm going to drink it all. That's the kind of alcoholic and addict I was, because I could never get enough. Nothing was never enough. And I would drink until I passed out or got knocked out, whichever one come first. Didn't make any difference. And I couldn't stop. Once I started, and I would go to the liquor stores like I was going to pick up that date in high school. I was all excited, and that girl looked like, Farrah Fawcett, when I was on the way to pick up at the liquor store. And I put the fifth, and I'll tell you how insane I was. I put the fifth in my back seat, strapping in like it was a child, like I was putting it into a car seat. And I'd be going down the street, and I'd be looking back to make sure that the bottle was still back there. I mean, that's crazy. And this is insane. I mean, if you ask my wife, she'll tell you how crazy I was. And I would tuck the bottle underneath my arm like I was a football, carry it on in the house and sit it on the table and stare at it like it was Farrah Fawcett. And I'd be all tingly. And I'd take the bottle at the bar. I drank Patron. Anybody familiar with the Patron? That's what I drank. If I'm going to drink the best. And I'd take that top off. It's like I was romancing the whole deal. And it was so beautiful at the beginning of the night. And then at the end of the night, I'm laying in the middle of the floor crying and thinking about my past, thinking about all the issues, thinking about my family, thinking about what a loser I was. But I was just sick. And I didn't know how to stop all that. And I had been in and out of the program 4 different times. And I always knew the result when I picked up a drink or picked up a drug, whatever it was. I swore I was fortunate enough that the first go around, after my first time, after I got out of, I was locked up for 5.5 years. Everybody knows that story. Then I went to a treatment center. That was part of my release. And I didn't drink for 19 years. But something else I didn't do neither. I didn't address the trauma. I didn't address all the hurt and pain that kept me sick for so long. I had a counselor at 919, and Marshall remembers him, Herman Taylor. I love this man. Herman Taylor was his name. And he wasn't an addict. He wasn't an alcoholic. He wasn't any of that. But he helped more people get sober and clean than anybody I've ever met. And he kept it real. And he said something to me one time that really didn't resonate with me at the time, but as I got older and got further into recovery, I started to understand it. He said, if you treat the symptom, he said, the disease is never going away. My disease of alcoholism and drug abuse is never going to go away. But he said, if I treat the symptoms of my disease, at some point it will become arrested. He said, if I treat the symptoms of my disease, at some point it will become arrested. And I didn't find out until late in life, after being in and out of the program 2 or 3 times, that those symptoms were my issues. Grief, loss of mother, loss of father. My father robbed and killed up in Fairfax, Virginia, Christmas night, 1970. Losing my mother in 2005, sitting there holding her hand the last day of her life, taking her last breath. The pain and the hurt that I felt was unbearable. And I didn't share that with anybody. I kept that to myself. And I went out and got drunk. And I stayed drunk until I ended up in another treatment center again, going, I must be insane to continue to do the same thing and nothing changes. But the last go around, 2018, I ended up in St. Mary's Hospital, paralyzed and drunk after I had put my dog down. And I ended up, and I was so angry, I was still alive. Woke up next morning, still alive. I can't even drink myself to death. I can't die. And my wife said, you know what? You are trying to die, but what if you don't die? What if you continue to live a long, sufferable, miserable, alcoholic life like my father did? And that resonated with me. So I finally came and got honest. Finally told people that I was scared, I was fearful, and I was hurting. And I got a sponsor. I got a great sponsor. Love this guy. His wife's got 32 years. He's got 28 years. and I can count on him. I can call him. I don't call him like I should. He calls me. Are you doing okay? And sometimes I am, and sometimes I'm not. But I have to tell him, I have to tell myself when I'm not doing well, because I have to sit down with another alcoholic or another addict and talk things out, and then I feel better. I got to tell you, I got to stay close to this all the time. I don't only work recovery, I live recovery today. I love this program. It's given me a life that I never dreamed of. I got a job I've had for 30 years. I sell radio advertising for 6 radio stations. I started off selling print advertising at Style Weekly. I sell for 6 radio stations. WRVA, News Talk, Sports Station 910. Got the #1 hip hop and R&B station. I sell for The Beat 106.5. Mike Street and that crew. Mike Street's like the governor here in Richmond. I worked with Mike at Sinclair at Power 92 back in the day. And I got a wife that's stuck by my side through all my stuff. And that's a blessing. And I didn't respect that. I didn't appreciate that. I said, something must be wrong with you to stick with me. But anyway, I'd rather be here any day than to be sitting with my buddies having dinner, because I can get some real talk here and be around people that just like me, that feel just like me, know how I feel on a regular basis. This is the people I have to be around. You folks, Marshall, Stu, Steve, Colley, all those guys, John Chinholes. I have to be around all those guys because I feel at home when I'm around you people. I feel at home when I come through here. And we got a speaker today. I got a couple speakers, I think, right, Marshall? Got a couple? Oh, Colley. Just Colley?
I'll introduce Colley.
Okay, go ahead and introduce Colley, Steve.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey, you guys. I'm Steve. You guys know me. I did the media here, but that's one of the best things I do. I mean, it's so fun to put this on the jail tablets. If you're on a GTL tablet, that's because I put them on there. So a million people, up to 1 million people might see that. But the other half of my job is working with this guy right here, Colley. He's the night and weekend supervisor. He's a CPRS, FPRS, RPRS, dog owner. But the other thing we do that you guys don't see, we work what we call the front lines, what he also calls the front lines, because we're out there nights and weekends. When anything's going to happen, it usually happens then. And this guy is always there. Like, we do whatever we have to do to keep people in the herd, because that's what we call this, the herd. So without further interruptions, bring you Colley.
So yeah, what's up, guys? My name's Colley. I'm night and weekend supervisor at McShin. I get calls, emergency calls at night. I try to keep everybody alive and well. Oh, you can only imagine what happens. But I just want to share a couple of things. Like my story, I moved around a lot. I used to sell a lot of drugs. I used to bring them over the Canadian border, and I was big in making money that way. I grew up with my family, we moved a lot. My parents were bikers. We used to go to rallies, and they traveled a fair, believe it or not, and dragged me with them when I was a child. So I never really was in a safe environment. I started selling drugs and then started moving a lot. So I moved from Maine. I was locked up in Maine. I went to Brooklyn, New York. I lived in Queens. Then I moved to Florida, Jacksonville, North Jacksonville. And then I moved to Maryland. I was in Tampa, Clearwater. These are all places I just kept moving. I was pretty much locked up in every place or in recovery. I was in 10 different recovery organizations. What Marshall was saying about the final finished product, this is a finished product. I came from Baltimore. I was out in Baltimore for 18 months, Southwest, Pulaski, Ramsey. I don't know if any of y'all know about Baltimore. I worked at a dope spot on McHenry, a few different ones. But I was living in a condominium for like 18 months straight through the seasons, working at dope spots, running with tricks. Was just really protecting them. I'm white, so, if you can't notice. But, yeah, that was being out there. I'm one of the only white guys out there, in that area. So you know, a lot of things would happen in those 18 months, and something crazy happened. Somebody picked me up from the hospital. My cousin, actually, I hadn't seen in 20 years, found out I was in the hospital fighting for my life. He was standing up front of my door when I walked out my hospital room. He's like, "You're coming with me," and I was like, "Where are we going?" He's like, "Don't worry about it." So he brought me to McShin. That's how I ended up in McShin this time. And I go in the jails. I'm also judicial program, so I go up to RSW jail. And one of the things that worked for me was realizing that if I'm here, my way probably doesn't work, right? First of all, how do I find a new way of life? How do I live different? How do I actually change? Because I've tried over and over, I always fail. So it's like, first off for me was realizing that my way doesn't work. I'm gonna try it a different way. And I challenge y'all to ask yourself, like, what's a successful life look like to you, right? What does a successful life look like? And while you're here, this is like a break from life, believe it or not. You got a break from life right now. It's a clean slate. And what I would like to say is, like, free yourself before you get free. Free yourself now before you get free, because working on the problem, if we don't know what our problem is, how can we have it, you know, how can we fix it? How can we be in the solution? So for me, what I did was I broke it down to one word. Like, why do I keep ending up in the same place? There's one word for me. There's a few, but one word for me was carelessness. Being careless, being casual. Just being casual about shit. So casualness leads to casualties, straight up. So if that's your word, some people it's like isolation. Some people, what's your word is what I want. You know, you should ask yourself, what's that word for me? What always makes me end up in the same routine? And then the second thing for me was realizing that if my way don't work, and I've, you know, OD'd a lot and all out there on the streets, been through a lot of stuff. I first realized that my brain is messed up a little bit. I can't trust my thinking. So I decided to go 18 months because I looked it up. 18 months it takes for the brain to heal. So I was like 18 months with not putting anything in my body, and let my brain heal. And what do you have to lose to come to McShin or go try and find a different way? I just say, give me 18 months of your life. Some of y'all might doubt that you could, or you might not have any desire to stop using. And I didn't when I got to McShin, but I stayed in position. I sat still, and I just kept doing the next right thing. But for me, I had to, if we don't know what the problem is, how are we going to find the solution? How are we going to fix something we don't know? So while you're sitting still, if you can figure out what that problem is, and we can start working on that problem. Does that make sense? So I do have another speaker here. That's all I got really for you guys. But I do have Ray. Ray came in to McShin. I was his coach, so I'm a recovery coach at McShin. And Ray just had a baby. Ray's been clean now a while. I'll let Ray tell his story.
Hey, how y'all doing? Sorry, I'm sick. I've been up since 5, so. Started doing dope when I was 14 years old. Y'all know the fucking story, right? Do dope, rob people. Everybody's got the same story, right? Well, what happens when you get clean? Is it worth it? Why do it? You enjoy getting high, right? Everybody enjoys getting high. I still like getting high. He'll tell you. I ain't got that much clean time. It don't matter. Make the next right choice, right? You got these things called gifts of recovery. I came home from prison a little over a year ago. It's June 1st last year. It's like my 4th time going to prison. I'm only 32. Spent 8 of my 20s locked up, had nothing. Always came home, stayed at my sister's house, ended up fucking up a month into being home. Back on the run every single time. This time I did the same fucking thing. But it was different. I didn't even enjoy it. The high is not the same. The people aren't the same. It's not the same. And it's not worth it because you're not getting high. You're playing roulette with your fucking life. And that's what it boils down to. All my homeboys I used to run with, either they're doing life or they're dead. They either sold a bad batch or they OD'd themselves, you know? I've got a lot of gifts of recovery, man. I got good friends, got a nice truck, got a great job. Greatest gift of all, though, is my daughter never has to meet the junkie version of me. I was a fucked up person. I've never been inside of jail without being in cuffs first. I'm surprised they let me in here. There's a lot to it, man. Like when you walk into a room, people don't look you up and down and pull the shit to the side no more. You know what I'm saying? I got keys and codes to $250,000 worth of equipment sitting in Chesterfield. Who the fuck is going to trust an addict with that? But I proved myself. Just make the next right choice, man. Don't fuck. And if you do, so fucking what? It's a bump. I got high once, but I didn't run, you know? I went and did what I was supposed to. That shit helps a lot. Owning up for everything you do, that's the biggest fucking step. Don't skip it and go straight to that one, though. It don't work like that. You gotta work up to it. Oh, man, what else should I talk about, Colley? It's my first time doing this, man. It's weird. How many of y'all got kids? Did any of them see you in active addiction? Sorry for that. I was lucky. I didn't have no kids up until this past year. And she was born last week. And thank you. It's fucking awesome. I'm shaking just sitting here thinking about her. My first answer when Colley asked me if I wanted to do this was, fuck no. Why would I want to go there? Like, I want to go home with my daughter, you know, and shower and sit in the AC and pet my dog. And oh, yeah, I live in a gated community. If I'd have went there 2 years ago, they didn't ever let me in the gate. They didn't ever even let me apply for the house. Anyway, but back to what I was saying. The easiest or the biggest thing that's going to keep you clean is helping other people. Now, I'm not saying enable them because you're not helping them. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody I see on the corner, you know, I ask them if they want a job. I don't give them no fucking money. I know what they're going to do with it. I'm not going to be the one that kills you. But I'll give you a job if you go to this place and get fucking clean. It's not hard. Just do what they say for 28 days and keep doing it. But yeah, I definitely, my own personal view of myself as a lost cause. I was nobody. I was a pincushion, bro. I'd sell everything I owned for some dope. Didn't matter. But today, I wouldn't trade this life for anything. Not even the dope. I mean, it's amazing. My family, I got family reaching out that I ain't talked to in 10, 15, 20 years because they hear from my other family how fucking good I'm doing. And I haven't reached back out to any of them yet. What do I do? How do I approach fucking that? You know, sorry, I was a piece of shit for so many years, but I'm better now. You know, don't really work that way, you know? It takes twice as long to build a bridge that you burned. Tyler Childers said that. This shit's great, yo. Life's hard. It's gonna kick you in the nuts or the other thing. But just keep moving. Don't lose your fucking momentum. For real. It's so much easier after you get going. All I do, you know what I do? I get up, I put my boots on, and I show up to work. That's all I have to do. I busted my ass for 6 months, and now I'm the foreman for the company. You wake up and do what you're supposed to fucking do, everything falls into place, man. Get up. Y'all go out to work, right? Y'all don't? My old lady, she was in the orbit program a few years ago. Yeah. Yeah. Well, she went out in orbit. She was on the Leaf crew. She did 6 years in CCAP. Only been in trouble once her whole life. She's a fucking sweetheart. I don't know how she made it in prison. But she is amazing, and she's what keeps me grounded. You know, after y'all get a little clean time, find that. whether it be a family member, a sister, brother, it doesn't matter. And also, if you don't really know what you want in life, find somebody that has what you want. Follow them. It'll literally get delivered right in your fucking lap. And I'm not exaggerating at all. I've done nothing but get up and go to work, and I have a nice ass house in a gated community, a brand new F-250, and like I said, access to anything I need. With felonies, now there's some job sites I can't go on. You know, all government job sites I'm banned on. But we stay away from those for that reason. So just keep listening to these guys, y'all. I'm out of here. I'm ready to go see my daughter. They won't steer you wrong, I promise you that. My word's good. You can ask him. Y'all, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Ray. Let's give Ray a hand, another hand. What I like about that, you know, this is what we've been trying to do for the last 2 or 3 months, man. Get somebody to come in that's fresh in recovery. You know what I'm saying? Get somebody to come in that's fresh, can get raw with it. You know what I mean? And you know, I thoroughly enjoyed his sharing. You know, for me, I said earlier, you know, find a purpose, man. Find a purpose. If you can't find one, keep digging. You know, and my takeaway from him is when he talk about his family, he talk about his wife, and he talk about his daughter. You know, that kicked in for me. My daughter was born when I was in the penitentiary. You know, and man, you know, me and her got a relationship now that shit, man, out of this world. You know, this girl calls me every single day. Every single day she calls me, you know, and I just think about that love, you know, between the father and daughter. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that's why I'm saying, whatever your purpose is, man, keep digging for it. Keep digging. You know what I'm saying? All of us got a story. All of y'all got a story. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody's recovery is the exact same. You know, everybody do it differently, you know, but there are some basics that you got to stay with. You know, you got to stay with it. You can't do this thing, man, on an island, isolated by yourself. You know, it ain't gonna work like that, man. Because I'm telling you, I've been around here long enough to see some of the changes that have taken place over the last 30 years. You know, one of the changes that has taken place is the addicts are smarter than what they used to be. You know, I mean, you can look at the facts. Majority of the people that used to find their way into recovery hadn't even graduated from high school. You come in here now, these people got college degrees. You know, they done went to school, man. And I say it all the time, man. Education, though, can't keep you clean. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just telling the dude, I was at Port Market, and it was a dude, I was at Port Market and I was at the Richmond City Jail. This dude was locked up, man. I thought he was a damn doctor. Everything you wanted to know about a street drug, he could tell you. He could break that shit down for you, you know? Hence, what I was saying earlier, dudes coming in here are smarter, man. You know, they are smarter, you know? But one thing you can't do, man, you can't outsmart the disease. Can't outsmart that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Man, because it's scary for me. I've been around here for a long time. And once I found out what my purpose is and my compassion for this thing, shit, man, you can't take that from me. Like John said, man, look, when the addict wants to use, ain't nothing you can do to stop. When they don't want to use, ain't nothing you can do to make them, you know? And I don't want to use, man. Because I'm telling you, man, look, they got some shit out there on the street. You know, man, this shit is so strong and so powerful. You know, huh? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. 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 Oh yeah. Old timer told me a long time ago. He said, "What changes about the game is the morals and principles. That shit changed. I mean, I seen young dudes, man, set up their partner because somebody gave them a pack. Set their partner up to get killed. You know? I mean, that shit was like shit, man. Everyday event. You know? You turn around, you hear about somebody getting killed. You know what I'm saying? And then you started hearing about shit on the street, man. So and so gave so and so an ounce to set him up. That's what he did. You know what I'm saying? Shit is crazy, man. You know? But yeah, the trust thing, trust in yourself. You know what I mean? Whenever we had this Tuesday thing, man, I always do some work, preparation and all that. You know what I mean? One of the things I looked at today to talk about, John mentioned about what recovery means to you, you know, and I was thinking about humility, you know, got to live a humble life. You know what I mean? Not look that shit up on the dictionary. Don't be too proud, and don't be too boastful, and don't be too arrogant. You know? Because I know how this thing worked, man. I read the story. A lady hadn't smoked a cigarette in 5 years. And all of a sudden, she got the urge to smoke. And she started going through her house, looking in the drawers and shit, places that she knew cigarettes used to be. You know? When I read that, man, that scared me. Because I mean, you know, I don't get that kind of shit now, but I still had dreams. Every now and then I might have a using dream. Now I know what one of y'all will do. I know what the dudes in Port Market do. They have a using dream. That means that, oh, I got to get high. Well, come on, man. You ever dream about hitting the lottery? Hey, go and throw all your money to the lottery. Wake up, be broke as a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But when you get a dream about using, that means I got to use, you know? And I like what the brother was saying. You know, hey, man, so look, when I get a using dream with that means that I'm going to just turn my life upside down again. I'm going to make another bad decision again. You know, put that shit in perspective, man. You know what I'm saying? And while we got that fog going on, we can't put that shit in perspective. Hard as we try. You know what I'm saying? Like you just said, man. Our way ain't working. You know, I can analyze everything. Be dead wrong. I just said earlier how I want to always be right. I be dead wrong analyzing some shit, you know, and I run with it. You know, I'll run with that shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, and this thing right here, man, is the humbling part for me is understanding that I don't know everything. I don't know as much as I thought I knew. You know, they got a step. When you were wrong, continue to take personal inventory. And when you were wrong, promptly admitted it. You know, I do that shit on a regular basis. You know, I'm married. I got a wife and a daughter. You know what I'm saying? Shit, they love telling me, Dad, I think you're wrong on that one. You know what I'm saying? and when I find out, I got to go back and tell them, you know what? I was wrong. You know? But that's just the part of being humble. Because, see, I wouldn't do that at one time. You know? I'd take and run with that lie. You know what I'm saying? First step is just about being honest. You know what I'm saying? You know, on all levels. Be honest about whether you want to use or not. You know what I'm saying? Like my man was saying about trusting yourself. You know? If I can't trust myself, man, to do certain things, the thing about this program is you can get help. Somebody will go with you. You know? to do what it is that you need to do. And when I was thinking about being humble, I don't know why, but that's what they say about men. We don't like asking for help. You know, we hard with that shit. You know, the little thing they used to say is about, you know, you riding, you and the family riding, and your wife be like, why don't you use the GPS? Oh, I don't need a GPS. I know where I'm going. And then you run up into a dead end. Where the GPS at? You know what I'm saying? You know, it's difficult asking for help at times. You know what I'm saying? I done learned that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? And little things like that, man, like he said, keep you going, man. Keep you going on that straight and narrow, you know? And you will find out, because I went to a men's group the other day, and I asked the young guy what you gonna talk about. And he said, you know, he told me what he was gonna talk about. He said, well, what you gonna talk about? I said, I'm gonna talk about living life after turning 70. I said, now, what you can talk about, I know about it. But what I'm doing, what I'm talking about, you don't know nothing about it, because you ain't 70 years old yet. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a clue, you know? And I would say the same thing about some of us and the recovery thing, man. That's why we sponsorship, going to meetings, you know, networking, getting phone numbers and all that. And the brother told you, man, once you get into it, it's a lot easier, because some of that shit started to dissipate. Thinking I know everything, you know what I'm saying? Thinking that I'm up here and all that, you know. I'd rather stay right here, you know. Because what can you teach somebody to know every damn thing? I mean, most of us, you know, you don't run into a couple of people that know every damn thing. You ain't like to be around. You know what I'm saying? Oh, get on my nerve. Think you know everything. You know what I'm saying? You know? But you know, that's it, man. That's it. That's the process, man. And we just gonna keep coming in here and keep bringing the message, you know, and hopefully, man. Wait a minute, hold that for me. Yeah. See that? Can you read that?
Which one?
Right here.
Marshall, 6 minutes. Topic: the importance of carrying the message to the addict who still suffers.
Yeah. When I went to the anniversary, that's what they do. You know what I mean? I like that, right? They whoever gonna speak, they'll send you a text about what topic they want you to talk about, you know? And he was saying to me, you know, about carrying the message to the addict that still suffers, you know? And I was like, man, that's awesome. I do that shit every Tuesday, you know what I mean? I do that shit every Tuesday that I'm available, you know what I mean? And so that was good, man. So I thank y'all. I thank y'all for being here. You know, my hope is that, man, what I'm doing right now, I mean, I hope to see y'all doing that one day. Now, you know, I ain't got too much longer to live, right? I'm 72 years old now. I know. I mean, another 18 years, I'd be 90. I ain't coming up in this motherfucker, I'm 90 years old. Yeah, shit. Hey, 90 years old. Hey, Greg, hey, man, shit. I'm being like my brother said, I'm being home with the wife and, you know, the kids, the grandkids, or somebody, you know what I'm saying? You know? Because this thing is generational. Life is generational. That's why I like the guy that got a year clean. You know what I'm saying? Come in, man, Ray, and learn how to do this shit and, you know, pass the torch. You know what I'm saying? And y'all get out and learn how to do this shit and pass the torch. You know what I'm saying? Long as we stay linked, man, we all right. You know what I'm saying? The message is, and I say this now about the fellowship, AANA. This shit has gotten better over years, man, over the years. In the last 25, 30 years, it has gotten better. And I'm so grateful. You know what I mean? I'm so grateful for it. Because, you know, what you see now is like the CPRS, you know, Certified Peer Recovery Specialist. A lot of them, man, have gotten that, you know? And I applaud that. You know what I'm saying? I applaud that. Give them some more insight into this thing, man. You know? And so you can't stay, because let me tell you what I saw in the penitentiary. In the penitentiary, I saw a lot of brothers, man, with false pride. You know what I'm saying? In jail, I see a lot of them with false pride. Everybody wanted to be something. You know what I mean? I mean, they be lying. Oh, yeah, I had 5 people working for me. You know what I'm saying? You know, yeah. Oh, come on, man. Then you talk to somebody that know them, and they say same thing, man. I fucking had no 5 people working for him, man. Mother was a wino out there on the street. You know what I mean? You know, and you see that shit, man. So that's the idea about being humble. You know what I mean? But anyway, man, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for everybody. I'm grateful for everybody to help us do this, man. And y'all keep doing what y'all doing, man. And y'all come back. We be back. Not next week. We got the next. You know what I mean? Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Keep doing what y'all doing. Man, they got a lot of people that come out jail and made an impact. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You can be one of them.
I see you again, bro. I told you I'm coming, man.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, y'all just be waiting for me.
Oh, yeah.
You understand?
Yeah. 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 They're taking care of them, man. They're taking care of them. The white people. Yeah. Yeah, they're taking care of them. I like that. What I give y'all fresh?
Yeah.
Yeah. That looks slick. That looks slick there. I like that.
Appreciate you, bro.
Glad you got off work.
Yeah.
Came by.
All right.
All right.
Thank Marshall.
All right.
Have a good one, bro.
Good?
Yeah, we got.
I've seen the little cars.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny. That's crazy, son.
Perfect. That was good.
Oh, yeah.
Guess I better end
I
it.
still shake my head sometimes.
We do our